Hello and welcome back, guys. This is Ibrahim Qureshi here, and today we are going to cover VM and templates. So I think we have covered this session couple of months ago, so I think this is going to be a quick refresher, and then we will dive into the other sessions with cloning and networking and so on. So for those of you who are joining me for the first time, I am delivering a vCS 7 training course free of charge on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe and follow me. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me on Twitter. This is my Twitter handle here, which is Ibrahim Qureshi. And let's get started. So the course content, just to recap, we are actually working on module 3, virtual machines, templates and clones. So today, as I said, we are going to cover templates. And then we have a lot more coming up going forward: storage, VMware virtual networks, and vMotion, HADRS, and then we'll be looking at how to patch, security, advanced troubleshooting and stuff. Okay, so looking at today's session, so the template basically is again a virtual machine, but it's customized to a level where basically you have all the details, all the applications installed on the particular virtual machine, how you want it, and then basically we make it a template. And anytime you need to install a virtual machine, rather than deploying a new virtual machine and installing the OS again and installing all those, I don't know how many applications you need in your organization. Maybe you have like 15 to 16 applications we need. It could be just Office, and it could be Excel, or email client and stuff like that. So all those applications can be pre-baked in to this virtual machine, and then we basically make it a template. So we can easily deploy using this template, and once you deploy using this template, what will happen is you will get all those things readily available for you. You don't waste another 2 hours just installing and deploying all those things. It's so easy to do that. So that's the beauty of virtualization against. Okay, so let's get started. So as I said, you make your goal template. Goal template can be used for VMs. So for deploying a VM, you have your goal template and you use that. Template eliminates the risk of having IP conflict, like duplicate server names and IP addresses. When you deploy using the template, you can customize it to a level where you can give the name of the server, give a new IP address if you want to. So that's really handy. What else can we do is you can automate it at the same time if you want. Obviously, if you have your template ready, you can start using PowerCLI, and then you can just run a script to deploy your VMs when you need them, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's get started. Now, as some of you might know, that I have an online lab which I'm offering for people who are struggling completely with that. Like, I know quite a few people reach out to me for issues they are having, and 90% of the time it's basically down to CPU and memory. So this is why I created this online lab. So all you do is log into the remote session like this, to a server name which I will give you, and then when you connect, you'll connect with your first name dot last name at my domain. And then once you connect like this, you have your browser, you type in the vCenter name, and you can bookmark it like this. Once you bookmark it, you can give it a name like VCSA, and then you can see it here. So next time you don't need to type this URL. So launch. So I'll log in with my first name dot last name, that is at agileops.co.uk, which is my domain. By the way, that is my blog as well, agileops.co.uk. And there you go. So we are logged in successfully, and what we are going to do today is, we have this virtual machine which is a CentOS machine which I have. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to create a template. So this is running from this data store. Now there is a specific thing we need to show you. So if I go to the data store, this is the VM. As you can see, there are a lot of files here. Let me move this a little bit so you can see it properly. And the file for configuration is VMX. So that is what we are seeing here, and there is around about 16 files. As you can see, items are 16, right? So there you go. What happens when we create a template is it changes this format and it disappears from this area here, because it then becomes a template. So if you focus here, this is the VM and template tab, just right over here. So this is the host and cluster, this is the VM and template section, this is the data store, which is storage, and this is networks over here. So once we make it a template, it will come here, and then you will see this change to be a template. Okay, let's do that. So to create this virtual machine as a template, obviously as it says here, this is a CentOS machine, and it is just having an operating system which is CentOS, which is a Linux version. To change it to template, you right click on it and say convert to template. You can also export it as OVF template, but over here we are just going to convert it to template. And it will ask you, do you want to do this? Say yes. There you go, boom, it's disappeared from here. Go back here and you can see Linux, and then you have this CentOS here as a template. Okay, now before we do the deployment of a virtual machine from this template, what I would show you is, let's quickly go back in again to the storage and select this CentOS again, and now you will notice the VMX file has been changed and it will have VMTX file, which basically means that it is a template. It is been converted to a template. So you still have 16 items here, but you have this config file, which is VMX file, now been VMTX has been changed to. So that's what we need to remember. Could be an exam question as well. So, and again, this is the virtual disk, which is like the hard drive for the VM. If you haven't seen how to create a VM, check the other previous video. I have gone in details with all the files which gets created when you create a virtual machine. So don't be sure to check that out. Now, before we go back here and deploy a virtual machine, I want to quickly show you a little bit of let's minimize this customization, which I talked about here. Customization of template using guest customization, and then we can give a name, Linux 01, like that, and then we select Linux, just give a description. Customization, normally if you are doing it for a particular subnet, I would mention the subnet. So this customization is for this subnet. I'll tell you in a minute, because in the networks we will set which subnet we are going to deploy it on, so then you will understand that. So use the virtual machine name as use the virtual machine name. So whatever name I give to virtual machine, that will become the computer name. Domain, we can mention a domain called agiops.co.uk, like that, and then move on. Over here we can enter Europe, and then London for me. We don't need to do anything here, just we can run PostScripts if you want to. Over here I will select manual, and then we can edit this. Now we only need to change two details. By default it's going to select DHCP. No one runs the production servers on DHCP, right? So when you deploy this template, you want to be asked for the IP address, so that once it is deployed, you already have the server connected to the network and you can log in exactly as such to it. Yeah, so the only thing you need to enter here is the subnet mask and default gateway. For those of you who are using my lab, this is a good note to remember. Whoops, sorry, that this is a /20/8 subnet. So you just give 255.0.0.0 and then the default gateway, which is 10.10.10.250. And again, these are pretty much the same for all the configurations, because it's a /8, it's a huge network. There you go, that's all it is. It's just basically saying now that from the user for IP. And then next, we will give the DNS, which is 10.10.10.251, which is my AD server and also DNS. And I'm not going to bother with the secondary DNS. And that's pretty much it, guys. So customization, and target host is Linux, and we are setting a domain which is agileops.co.uk, the time zone which we are setting up, and do not customize script. So do not use customization script, we don't have a script, but we are customizing the IP address when we deploy it. So this is pretty cool, because when this is created, so there you go, that's created there. Now let's go back and now we will start deploying a virtual machine. Now deploying a virtual machine with the template, this is the template which we converted. Right click and we say new VM from this template. Okay, and then we just give a name, CentOS, maybe test -01, yeah, and then select the data center, and then Linux, because this is where I want it to be deployed. This is my cluster here, lab 21 I'm working on, and it's successful, which means everything is working as it should be. It has enough compute, I mean. I will deploy it on this particular data store, which is 1 terabyte nearly. Next. Now normal circumstances you would say next and then finish. That means it gets deployed without customization. Then you need to log into the virtual machine and give an IP address. But over here we'll go back and we'll select this, customize the operating system, and we click next. Now you can see both the customizations which I have one which I have created for ESX, and this is the brand new one which we created for this Linux machine. Click on next, and there you go, it's only asking us for the IP address. The IP I'm going to assign it is 10.10.10.30. actually, yeah, let's assign it 10.10.10.25. that's the IP I want to assign it, and then click on next, and it says what details you have set it up with, and then click on finish. And you can see at the bottom it's getting deployed, 41% already done, as you can see here. So if you go to host and clusters, you will see it is getting deployed here. This is just slow disk, so it will take a little bit of time, but once this is deployed, we can pretty much check whether it is pinging on the right IP which we have set up. So let me start a ping here, 10.10.10.25. that's what we decided. Let's start a continuous ping. Still not done yet. It's basically %. So let me quickly pause the video for this to be completed. Once this is completed, we can start again. There you go, guys, it's done now. Cool. So it was 94% when I turn on the recording, and it's completed now. So let's see how much time it took. 9:43 p.m. we started, and it's completed at 9:49. So it took around about 6-7 minutes to deploy. So there you go, it's deployed now. Now once it is deployed, obviously what we are going to do now is we are going to see where it is. So here it is. We are going to power it on. Before we power on, it's up to us whether we want to change some settings. So as you can see, it has a 20 gig drive, thin provision, of course, 1 CPU, 1 GB memory. Let's change that, sorry, 2 GB memory, let's change that to 1 GB. So you can do clever things like this. Maybe you want to enable hot add and hot plug memory, which they call. So you can do all these things. Say there you go, memory hot plug, you can enable that and then click on OK. So that's basically me changing the CPU and memory to 1 CPU and 1 gig memory, and you can see the changes here. Now let's go ahead and turn it on. And when we turn it on, as you remember, CLS, we have a continuous ping here running. There you go, we are seeing it boot. Let's open it in web console here so that you can keep an eye on it. So we are just seeing it boot over here. There you go, start booting and then restart again. It's just normal, guys. When you're using customization, the Linux machine needs to reboot once so that it sets the IP and everything. So don't rush into this. Let it reboot any time it needs. Give it the time it needs, basically. So you can see it's around, and it has booted now. Now only thing I didn't check, let's go back here, is the network. We checked most of the things, but we didn't check the network. But once it's booted, we can see that it is having network connected as well, yeah, and it has picked up the right IP address. It is 10.10.10.25, which is what we assigned. Obviously it has other IPs. It's picked up this one because I have another IP available, sorry, IP DSCP server available on that range. So we can fix that. We can basically change that and make sure it's not seeing that. But obviously in your production environment you won't have that. So but the fact is, obviously this is the IP we set up to, and that is the gateway it has. So it won't talk to this network at all. It will ignore it completely. It will only talk on this particular network, which is 10.10.10.25. So that's a quick demo of how you can use customization and the power of templates, how easily you can deploy it. Now if you were to install this from scratch, as you know, you need to build the VM first, VM container, and then mount the disk and then install it. Once you install it, then you have to, yum update and update the CentOS or DNF update, whatever you want to call, if you're using CentOS 8 like I am over here, and then that's going to take you at least around about an hour or so. But over here I deployed this within 10 minutes. Let's go back to the slides. So we have seen the introduction of templates and the benefits. We understand them now, that it speeds up the process of the IT admin. You save time when you are using templates. You saw how to create a template, and you saw how to deploy a new template, and you also saw how to customize the template. So benefits, we have covered that. Just a quick note, if you are struggling with the lab and you can't set up with on your own laptop, I have recently done a demo of how to configure your own lab on workstation, VMware workstation. It's around about 2-hour session, but it takes you from the basics to set up your own brand new lab. So check that out. But if you don't have a minimum of 32 GB laptop memory, then you won't be able to get much luck. Then that's when I would suggest either use VMware hands-on lab. The only problem with that is that's all scripted, and that's literally says you to do click next, click this, click that, and you don't learn a lot with that. But over here what I have done is I have created this labs for you. If you are interested, you can basically send me an email and let me know that you want to access this lab. There's more information on this labs on my website, and this is how it will be, like how I logged into the RDP server just now, and then connected to the vCenter, which is vcsa.lab.agileops.co.uk, and I got access to 2 hosts with storage, and I basically started doing my work. So that's how simple it will be. It will be your first name dot last name at agileops.co.uk, which will be the domain user ID for you, and you can straight away start working on it once you get the access. And that's the best way to learn, I think, in my opinion. You watch my video and practice it on the lab, and either set it up on VMware Workstation at home if you have enough resources, or just let me know if you are struggling, and then I'll see what I can do for you guys. Okay, with that in mind, let's move to the question of the day. What is the configuration file extension of template call? Is it option 1 .vmx or option 2 .vmtx? If you have watched this video, I'm sure you can answer this. Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my blog, which is agileops.co.uk, and my Twitter handle is @IbrahimQureshi. Be sure to follow me on Twitter because I update a lot of information there as well. And you can send me a message, direct message, DM me and say hello, and let me know if you want anything else, anything particularly which you want to learn about VMware, and yeah, message me on there. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so that you get new updates from me. Enjoy watching and keep sharing, guys. Cheers, bye.